Welcome back. As frustrating as my last few videos have been, especially the ones where I was trying to analyze games in order to learn something, I'm gonna keep plugging away with trying to get better at chess. And one way that's been somewhat rewarding recently has been solving puzzles. If you're new to my channel, I'm not a titled player or a chess coach. I'm just a random person trying to get better at chess. And solving puzzles is one way to do that. Recently, I noticed on the leaderboard, the puzzles leaderboard, you can select friends. And this is a list of me plus my friends on chess.com. And there are 48 people listed. I am rated at number 25. So out of these 48, I'm slightly below halfway. I thought I was doing really good. This is my highest ever puzzle rating. And I recognize several of these names, people that I've played here on chess.com, and some of them I think are also my subscribers on this channel. Anderson Connors being one of the earliest subscribers to my channel, who's just looks like about 100 points behind me here. It looks like a bunch of people who follow me have a puzzle rating in the 1100s up through the teens, but then there's quite a few that have a puzzle rating of 2000 and higher, including one international master who has a puzzle rating of 100 points higher than mine. And this one who's not a titled player who has a puzzle rating 900 points higher than mine. I have 5 people listed as a friend here that are over 3,000. But one thing that I've noticed in this most recent climb through the puzzle rating system that I've been doing is that I have a really high pass rate this time, 95%. That was definitely not the case the last few times I tried to get a high puzzle rating. In fact, by the end of those, my pass rate was really low. I would, get maybe 1 out of every 2 puzzles, maybe 50% for the last, until I got frustrated and then reset my puzzle rating. But this time it's 95%, which I think is the highest one on this list. I have one person here that has 82%, and I noticed a couple 70, 78%, 75%. But of all the ones that I looked at, this is the highest. That means that I should be able to get higher before I, plateau and have to reset again. So that's encouraging to me. I'm going to try to solve some puzzles today. Let's go. As always, I look for checks first. I do not have any checks in this position. Then we look for captures. I have a couple of captures, including this rook, including this knight. I think that's it. The rook seems like a no-brainer, but they'll take back. And then one thing I usually don't ask myself, but I need to learn to ask myself, is what happens when a piece isn't there anymore? So if I take this rook, as I said, and they take back, my queen can access a7. I wonder if that's the solution, because their knight will be over here on a4 and their rook's down there. And if my queen is on a7, it's pointed at both of them. I should be able to win one of those 2 pieces. Shoot down in here. Do they have a mate or anything if I do that? I don't think so. Do I have anything else before I play that? All right, I'm going to take the rook. If that's not it, we'll find out why. That was it. Okay, and the only reason that I thought to go ahead and do that was because of this fork. Okay, I'm going to go down there. Oh, I feel good about that one. Okay, and that only has a 48% pass rate. I mean, it took me, 5 or more minutes on my end. Oh, wow, next puzzle. Okay, they just took, I think I saw a bishop there. I do have multiple checks here. I can check with either rook, I can check with the queen, I can check with the queen up here. That's at least 4 checks. Also, there's a free pawn down here, but I think that's bad because they would come this way. Although I could take, and then they would take, and then I would take, and they would take, but they're ahead. Okay, see, that's another thing. Thank you to whichever one of you suggested that I check the material count before starting, because here I only have 1 minor piece. My opponent has 4 minor pieces. They're way ahead, because we each have 2 rooks and a queen, but they're up 3 full minor pieces, and one of them's under threat right now. Oh, that one's really under threat right now. Okay. So it's probably not picking up a pawn and then trading a rook and a queen for a rook and a queen. Probably, because they'll still be way ahead. So it's probably checkmating in some way, shape, or form. Now, of all those 4 checks, which one is best? My instinct is telling me that it's probably this rook, the D rook over to F1. And the reason is because these 2 pieces are already lined up over here. If I check with my rook to F1, they can't come out here because of the knight, and obviously can't move forward or backward, so they would have to go over there, and then I would have mate, except they could block with this bishop. But if they block with that bishop, I come down here, and that's check, and they have to go down, and then I check, and they have to come up, and then that's mate. But if I check first with the queen, they go back, and then I can't get that pawn. If I check first with the queen or the rook on the F file, any of those places, they go back to G8, and I can't get this pawn. That's why I think I should check with the D rook to F1. Okay, so I think this is a mate rather than trying to pick up material because of the severe material imbalance. I'm going to check rook D to F1, which leaves my queen and rook still pointed at their H7 pawn. Let's go. Oh, they blocked with that bishop. Oh, I said I would take it with my rook, but if I do that, their pawn is here. Okay, should I take it with the pawn? They're still way ahead. Should I take it with the rook? Take, and then what do? I guess I could come in here with this queen. Then they could come forward, but they probably wouldn't because check there. Oh, wow. Yeah, I said I would take with my rook, but rook sacrifice looks pretty rough right here. But again, if they take, I come forward. And if they go back, I still have this thing where then they have to come back out. Okay. Well, I got the first move right, but that was unexpected. And I think if I take with my pawn, that they just get this knight, and then their king has another way out. If I take with the pawn, they're not in check. If I take with the knight, they're not in check, but they can't take the knight. Maybe it's taking with the knight. What's the downside of taking with the knight? If I take with the knight, they could take back, but again, that opens up this check, which I think is good for me. But what if they don't take back? What if they do something else? I'm still down 2 minor pieces. Oh, they could bring over a rook and defend their h7 pawn. Well, I don't know what they would do, but that's a downside of taking here is that it's not checked. Okay, so I guess I got to throw away the rook for it. Well, this one definitely looked easier at the beginning than it's looking now. I'm going to throw away the rook. Not throw away. You know, it's a sacrifice for a purpose. Check. Okay, again, that's my only safe check right now. That's got to be it, right? That's what I said I would do if they took back with that pawn, which I guess they kind of had to. Okay, they went back. It has to be this, right? But then they just come back out. What do I do when they come back out? Well, that was embarrassing. I paused the video to think about so I wouldn't, waste more video footage time. And then I thought I unpaused it and I played that move. So I apologize for that it wasn't on camera. I looked over at my recording software and saw that it was paused. But what I had determined is if I took here and they came back out, I could take the f5 pawn and that would be a check. And they would have to go back in there. And then I wasn't sure exactly how I would, win this. Maybe come over here. But then they would come over this way. And then I think, no, I wouldn't have mate there because of their bishop. I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to work out. But I had determined that if they moved over one, I was going to check here with the knight, which is a fork of their queen. And if they came out, I was going to take the pawn. But it's possible no matter which one of those they did, I would take the pawn. But then I didn't know what to do after that. And I was about to check the analysis board when I realized that the video was paused. So, like I said, embarrassing, but let's check here. What would have happened at the end here? We got everything else figured out. It says their best move is to come up. Okay, I have multiple moves. That's why the puzzle didn't continue, but I could have played rook to g1, which threatens mate here. But if I had played rook to g1, wouldn't they have brought this rook over? Yeah, no, it says they would have, wait. Why would they have brought it all the way over? But then I would have taken here. Why wouldn't they have brought it this way? To protect the bishop if I played rook to g1. I don't know, but I would have gone here, and their best move would have been to go back, and then that was another place I wasn't sure what to do. It says I would go back here, but I have mate in 3. Okay, I go back to h7. Why wouldn't they come up and try for a repetition? Because I would have mate here. Because the bishop's pinned, the bishop couldn't block. But if they went over this way and I checked with the rook on f1, they could block with the bishop, and then that would be mate with the knight. Okay, yeah, that was a little bit more complicated than I initially thought. Again, apologize for not unpausing the video. I do that to save, file size, because when I put it in my editor later, the larger this video file is, the harder it is to edit. So whenever I'm going to have a think, I pause and I guess occasionally forget to unpause. Okay, well, next puzzle. Okay, I'm not sure why the opponent did this because this bishop's undefended. I mean, it's defended by the king, but that's not enough. Because why wouldn't I take the bishop? The opponent would have to move their king to h7, and then I could save this bishop. Are we even on material right now? Okay, I have 2 bishops. They have a bishop and a knight, and we each have a rook. Their rook is behind a passed pawn, which is a little disconcerting. And we have, besides that pawn, we have the same number of pawns. It's got to be taking the bishop, right? Am I overthinking this? It should be a pretty high-rated puzzle, so I might not be overthinking it. It might be that complicated. Okay, I'm not sure, but I'm going to take the bishop. Okay, that was it. I was just moving more quickly to save time, but now I have no idea what to do. This bishop's clearly in danger, but where do I go with it? All the way down to get in front of their pawn? Because as I said earlier with d2, they just push, so it looks like it has to be c1. I'm going to try that. Okay, fingers crossed. All right, well, it wasn't that. But that one only has a 36% pass rate. You can see that, right? Okay, well, it had been a while since I missed one. I'm not going to let that shoot down my confidence, but I am going to go to the analysis board and figure out what should have happened here. I was already ahead before their first move. That's unusual. Usually a puzzle, before the opponent moves, usually it's even or they're ahead. But here, when they played that, it made me further ahead. Oh, and I'm ahead even if I play my second best move. My second best move is rook to e8, and I'm still at +2. Wait, is this going to be the case with higher and higher rated puzzles? Those of you who solve higher rated puzzles, 22, 2300 and up a lot, let me know. Do you often have puzzles where even your second best move is still significantly winning? This is almost never the case with lower rated puzzles, and that's going to throw me off. Not that I ever would have found rook to e8. I don't know what does that do. Protects my pawn? I guess it's still pinning the bishop so they can't take mine. But I could play that and still be up +2.5. Okay, that's throwing me off. Okay, what about this? They only have one legal move. Bishop to g5. Wait, I said there was no benefit to that. I looked at every move on that diagonal. What? What's wrong with c1? What's wrong with c... I'm still winning with c1. Oh my goodness. And it says they wouldn't come after it to b3. They would come after it to c4. And I wouldn't get in front of... Well, I can't get in front of the pawn now because they're guarding it. And I definitely wouldn't take. I realized that later. I don't know if I said it, but then they would have, connected passed pawns. But it says now I would go back to g5 or f3. But I'm still winning if I played bishop to c1, +3. I almost want to complain to the to chess.com about this. The moves being that close to each other, +4.5, +3.25. What's so good about bishop to g5? It says they might play rook to b6. I don't know why. But why wouldn't they push their pawn? Oh, because, if they pushed the pawn, I would have a mating sequence. How do I have a mating sequence? I would play bishop to f6, and their best move is rook to b8, and I would just take it. Okay, and I have a mate in 2. They would push this. I would check over here, but they would get out of check, of course. And that's mate. And this appears to be from an actual game, assuming Mortensen and Peterson are actual people. Well, up here it says custom position, but here it says it lists 2 people as if this game was between them. Okay. Okay, so the reason that I'm going here is to go there. And now there is a little bit more separation between them. But earlier when I played c1, it climbed up into +3. It's doing it again. +3. So when I back up, yeah, it lists bishop to c1 as the second move now, and it's 3.25 to 4.5. Yeah, somebody did me wrong here by having 2 moves that close in evaluation, and one of them's wrong. That kind of ruined my mood, and I don't want to do another puzzle now. But I am trying to understand it. I'm trying to get better at chess. This is best because I want to get to f6. So that's why they would play rook to b6, but I would play bishop to f6 anyway, and they would take it, and I would take, and they would push their pawn. Well, of course they would. Wait, I'm just going to let it go? It says I would play h4 is my best move now. Okay, h4. Are they not going to push again? It says no. Why not? Because I can stop it? Okay, well, let's say I tried to stop it. Why won't they play here to go there to guard that square? But they'll just go here to go after this pawn, I guess, and then I will check them, and then they will take the pawn, and then I'll play h5. But yeah, why wouldn't they play here? I'll play h6, and they can go here to guard that square, but it's too late now. Okay. But basically what this is saying, and it did it again, it's not recognizing bishop to c1, and it's saying the next best move is d2, and it's only +2. But if I play bishop to c1, let this climb up into the 3s, and then back up, bishop to c1, 3.25, 4.5. You know what? I'm curious as to what Stockfish on the other site would say. I am curious about that. Yeah, here on the other site, it's very similar. 3.5 for bishop to c1 and 4.9 for bishop to g5. I mean, they both agree that bishop to g5 is better. And now I think I understand why, because I'm trying to get checkmate. They would try to prevent it. They would give up the rook for the bishop, and somehow I'd be able to get my h-pawn down there before they could get this b-pawn down. But bishop to c1 is almost as good. Okay. All right, so let's reset this. It didn't reset. It went to the last move I made. So I had to go here. And then they would have pushed that pawn instead of doing the thing that the engine said they would have played. So I would have put my bishop here, and they would have pushed the pawn again. Is it going to go this way and make me checkmate them? Oh, come on. It says mate in 3. Fix this chess.com. This was not a forced mate in 3+. It was a +4 or +3 puzzle. Advanced checkmates? It's not a checkmate unless you give it up like this. We just determined that, remember? Right here, there's no forced checkmate. It's +3. I go here. They come up. Even if I found the alleged best move here, they stop that with this. It's +4.5. No forced checkmate. Even if I play my best move, they're going to give up the rook. Well, now I'm not that upset about bishop to c1 not being the right answer. I'm upset that it said it was an advanced checkmate and mate in 3+ and all this stuff. It's not a checkmating puzzle at all. And now I don't have enough time to do another puzzle, so thank you for spending your time here. I made it to, oh, it's not going to say here because of that. Okay, let's go to my stats. I made it to 2352. Wait, is that what, that's what I started at, wasn't it? Yeah, I was at 2352 when I started today. I got 5 points, and lost 10. All right, so I gained 0 points today. That's going to happen. I'll see you next time.